Hello, what are you doing? Oh, little baby. Hi. Hello, little lamb. What are you doing? Hi, hello. I've just got in. It is simply way too hot inside for me to bother filming inside. So we're in the garden for a change. I bought off Etsy last night some more cross stitch patterns because I love cross stitch. It's so fun for me. I love just following a pattern and crossing everything off and then having a nice cute little cross stitch at the end of it. And for my friends' Christmas present, I did them a really big moth. I think it was like 30 centimeters. It was a moth with those little plants around it, and I enjoyed doing that one so much. I bought some more cross stitch patterns because I haven't done any cross stitch since Christmas. So I got 4 new patterns because I couldn't control myself. There was a ton more I wanted, but I figured 4 was enough for now. I got a Dracula pattern because why wouldn't I want a Dracula pattern? I love Dracula. There's a little possum which has got some strawberries around it, which is adorable too. There was some X-ray style hands, so like just bony looking hands to do. The other one is probably the biggest one, I'm gonna say, because it's a velociraptor skeleton that is surrounded with little leaves and plants and stuff, and I'm very excited to do that one. But I feel like I'm gonna do a small one first and then work my way up to that one. So I've got new cross stitch patterns, so expect there to be tons of just me cross stitching away like a little old lady. But other than that, I have been doing an absolute ton of reading since we last spoke. I think I told you about Leather and Lark. I did finish it completely, entirely. I think I finished it last Wednesday. I can't remember if I told you though. So I enjoyed it, but not as much as I enjoyed Butcher and Blackbird. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I have a whole review up on my Goodreads, but I ended up giving it 4 star, mostly because it just wasn't as funny as the first one. There wasn't as much like banter between the 2 characters, at least not straight away. It was a lot more plot heavy. I still really enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't, it didn't grip me as much as Butcher and Blackbird did. It was phenomenal though. Towards the end, you had to get like past the halfway mark and then things really started picking up, but it was still really good. I'm glad I read it. It just, I think I was expecting it to be Butcher and Blackbird 2.0, and it wasn't, so I was sad. Anyway, I still liked it. I will read the 3rd book. But after reading that one, I started listening to Deceived by the Gargoyles. I'm going to say that's what it is. I remember mentioning that one because I put a poll up on Instagram for what book I should listen to, and people voted on that one, and I stuck with it. I listened to the whole thing. It was only like 11 hours, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but I listened to the whole thing, and I gave it 3 stars because I was very indifferent to it. I didn't love it or hate it. It kind of felt like a waste of time, but also I liked some parts of the plot, so I wasn't overly mad at it. But I can safely say that I have never skipped so many sex scenes in my life in a book. Every time they started again, it was just the same old thing, and it was very boring and very repetitive, and it didn't really add anything to the plot or like overall their dynamic, so I ended up skipping loads of them right near the end, which meant that I kind of skipped, I think, the last hour of the book because it was all just sex. I can't believe I skipped that many. Like every other chapter there would be a scene, and I was just not about it. And I thought I would be, because it's a reverse harem, not fated mates, but like arranged mating kind of situation, and it just really didn't do it for me. I don't know, it was weird. The book I'm currently reading, which I started yesterday, is called, I'm gonna say it's called Dead of Summer. I am like 90% sure that's what it is. It's by AJ Merlin. Just came out actually, or like maybe 2 weeks ago or something. But it's by AJ Merlin, and they're the author that wrote the Pleasure and Prey series, which is like the depraved, vicious, brutal, all of those ones, which I love, because they are all serial killer romances. I didn't know this would be like a genre I was into. Very into it. Very into it. It's so good. It is just divine. There's such a good amount of plot with these books, and also spiciness. It's insane. So I'm reading Dead of Summer. I'm going to call that as it is, because I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. It is so good. It is so good. It's phenomenal. I think I'm like 20% into it. So not a lot has happened, but also a crazy amount has happened. I don't want to spoil it because it's so good, and all the plot twists that have happened have had me like clenching and screaming at my phone and my Kindle because of how insane they are. It's amazing. It is amazing. It's set in a summer camp, so think like 80s camp horror. There's this girl who has been a counsellor at this summer camp for like 4 or 5 years, something like that. And then this new counsellor comes into it, and he is like going to be her summer love. Like her friend is trying to set it up as like a summer love type thing, and he's just casually stood there dead of night next to a tree, really kind of put out that she's the one that's found him, and he's just got an axe. And I'm sure you can imagine the progression there. So she finds out very early on, like chapter 2 or something, that he's a serial killer and wants to kill all these kids at this camp and all the counsellors. He turns around to her and says that he's so sad, you know, about this whole confrontation type situation happening, because he wanted her to be his final girl. He had it all planned out and everything, but she just had to go and ruin it, you know? So they end up striking a deal, making a bargain, if you will, that she will do whatever he wants, as long as she doesn't kill anyone. Like over the entire camp session, she will do whatever he wants. I think it's like 8 days or something, and he jumps on that opportunity. So I'm sure you can imagine where it's going. I'm eating it up currently. I am reading that one on my Kindle. I'm having a great freaking time. It's so good. But yeah, Dead of Summer by AJ Merlin. It's so freaking good. I'm glad I was right about the title. Anyways, the other book I finished, freaking Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Started reading it on Wednesday, read tons of it on Thursday when I was with Erica and we had our reading day. And then I didn't actually finish it until Saturday because I wanted to drag it out for as long as possible and not finish it. Just because of how good it has been. It has been such a freaking good book. Like, insane. It has been insane how good it's been. Honestly, my favourite Ali Hazelwood book, I would say. I didn't think anything would be as good as Love on the Brain, because I read that one when that one first came out, devoured it, loved it. It became like my favourite Ali Hazelwood book. I honestly didn't think anything would top it. Like, I think it's Levi in that one. He was my favourite. Absolute favourite. Oh, it was so good. Yeah, Levi. Oh, so good. And then I was so scared because I read Bride when that came out as well, and I did not enjoy it at all. I kind of hated Bride with every fibre of my being. It's on me though for hating it, I'll be honest. It was a good book in hindsight. It just wasn't what I was expecting, which is why I kind of hated it. But this, my goodness, this was so freaking good. I wrote a review, okay, I did. I updated my Goodreads and I wrote a review. The review was all over the place because I can't put into words how much I enjoyed this book. It's one of those rare times where I cannot formulate thoughts on it, like nothing, just apart from how freaking good it was and how much I enjoyed it and how there was not a single problem I had with this book. Not one. So my review that I did write was very all over the place. Every single second of this though, I had a great time. Such a good time. I think it's her first like erotic adult romance. All the others have been just romances with quite a bit of spice in them. Eli in this, my standards have gone through the roof because of how freaking perfect he is. I'm gonna keep saying perfect, you can't stop me. And Rue, I've never connected to a character more in my life than Rue. It was just, it was so freaking good, okay? I can't formulate words, but I would urge everybody to read it because of how much I enjoyed it and how much of a great time I had reading it. I didn't want it to end. I really, really didn't want it to end. It was bloody beautiful. I think my favourite thing in this entire book was them sharing stories with each other. Because it was so good. They weren't nice stories either. They were sharing like the deepest, darkest parts of themselves and really bad stories that had happened to them in their past. And you wouldn't think that would be cute or enjoyable or fun. It wasn't, don't get me wrong. In the moment, it was not great. But it definitely like bonded them to each other and just made everything so much sweeter. And you could see like the connection and the romance. It was freaking adorable. I loved it so much. So I can't put into words, apart from that, how good this book was. If I could go back in time and reread it for the first time, in a heartbeat I would. Because this was so freaking good. So yeah. That's all I have to say about it, because I won't be able to say anything coherent apart from how much I loved it. And just how freaking good it was. My faith in her as an author has been restored. Definitely. Because, like I said, I didn't like Bride, and that really kind of put me off. It's fine. It's great. It was a me thing. Loved it so much. Yeah. That's all I have. I just wanted to do that. I'm gonna go now, though, because I'm gonna make myself some lunch. I do not know what. I am quite probably just gonna have an ice lolly, which is fine. Hello again. Hi. The lighting is intense as hell right now because it's sunny as heck outside. It is like in my eyes. This was not the optimal place to park today. Anyway, hi. Hello. I have 20 minutes before I need to go into work. I don't know why I left so early. I don't know why I keep leaving so early, but I do. So I think I'm going to sit here, read some more of my Kindle. I'm going to read more of Dead of Summer by A.J. Merlin. I read some more of that today. Enjoyed it so much. I think I'm like 40% of the way through now. Yeah, I'm like 40% of the way through now, which is insane. I only started yesterday. So I'm going to read some more of that. It's gone so good. There have been so many intense scenes between Summer and Cade, because of course his name is Cade. Are you kidding me? I'm enjoying myself so much right now. There are so many things happening. I'm learning a lot about myself and the things that I'm into. Is that TMI? Possibly, but we move. I'm gonna read some more of that because it's gone to a really juicy part. Basically, in the plot of it, late at night, when obviously it's all dark outside and all the campers are asleep, Cade sequesters Summer either to his like room at this camp or outside somewhere else, and it's currently nighttime and he has sequestered her, but they've gone to the boathouse for a change, so he can do unspeakable things to her and she can be as loud as she wants to be. Are you kidding me? It's so good. It's so good. I love it so much. So I'm gonna keep reading that. When I was on my way here as well, I started listening to, I'm gonna say, Throne of the Fallen. It's by Jennifer Armentrout. So I'm gonna say Throne of the Fallen. That sounds right. I started listening to that one. Have no idea what it's about. Nothing like that. It's been on my TBR since it came out, which must have been a year ago at this point. So I figured I'd finally knock one off my TBR instead of letting myself indulge in reading Kindle Unlimited books. Because I have fallen into that habit again. So that's my plan. Read some AJ Merlin, have a good time, and listen to some Armentrout while I'm at work. Because why not, right? Hopefully that audiobook is going to be good. I'm listening to it on Spotify, which is crazy. I keep forgetting that Spotify have audiobooks and that they have a lot of popular audiobooks for free on there to listen to. So I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to listen to that one when I'm in there. I just wanted to update you real quick because I feel like I don't give enough small teeny tiny updates throughout the day. I just do massive big info dumps that make no sense and are me rambling for like 20 plus minutes. So there you go. That's the current plan. When I get home, I'm in two mindsets. Either I'm going to have a pamper evening and while I'm pampering myself, do some journaling, because I keep saying it. I just need to annotate some spreads. That's all I need to do. Or I'm going to get into bed straight away and just keep reading this AJ Merlin book, because I can't keep saying it, but it's really freaking good and it's all I want to do. My every waking thought, if I had like an audio version of this, I would be listening to that at work as well. I would just be fucking up to my ears in it. Anyway, I digress. I'm gonna go now so that I can read for like 15 minutes. But yes, that's the plan. Also, I want to put my arm down because it's hurting, but the sun, I need to find a different place to park, clearly. Hello, hi again. I am keeping my window open because again it's really warm in this car and I don't want to die, so you might hear excess noises. That's fine, I'm sure. I am so freaking tired. It's 10:30 and I'm really tired. I was up, I want to say, till like 2 a.m. reading that AJ Merlin book. What is it called? Dead of Summer. I was reading that. I've got to like the 60%-ish mark. So many things have been happening in it. I've been squealing. It's been so freaking good. Okay? It's just like, I explained what kind of book it is. And it's like a summer camp slasher thriller kind of vibe. While still being very romancy. And summer camp ended, there was no murders, he stuck to the deal, but he left a day early, and the main character Summer, she had no idea that he was leaving until he just up and went, and then she was really sad and depressed and mopey about it, and being all like, oh, he didn't tell me. But then she was also fighting against herself because she didn't like him anyway, and he's a serial killer, so she shouldn't feel bad. All these things. And then she goes back for the last summer camp, like a week later, thinking it'll be fine, you know, like she'll just get through this one summer camp, nothing will happen. What happens? He turns up again, doesn't he? Of course he does. So he turns up. Everyone is confused because obviously he left the last one early. He basically kind of just appears out of nowhere behind her, and they have a little chit chat away from everyone else. And this part had me squealing like a little piggy, because he said to her that the reason he's come back and the reason he left so early is because he had to sort things out, but the reason he came back is for her. And she was thinking like, oh shit, he's gonna kill me this time, like this is it. No, he came back for her because he loves her. He confessed his undying love, and I was so freaking here for it. It was so freaking good. Oh my god, and I've still got like half a book left to read. I am eating it up. He confessed his undying love. And she was all like, you can't possibly love me. You've known me for a week, and in that week you were basically torturing me. And he claims that he's a sociopath, and he knew by like day 3, he just had to figure it out. So I've been reading that until like 2 a.m. and I've decided to come outside today and brave the big bad world, as it were, on the hottest day of the week as well, because I guess I hate myself. Because earlier in the week I'd kind of said to myself that I was gonna come up city and actually try and be productive and do things, which sounds great, I know. But I woke up this morning, as I do every morning, and I was like, I really can't be arsed. I don't want to go anymore. Seems like a lot of effort, you know? But I've committed to the bit today. I'm actually going out, I'm going to do things. I don't know how long I'm going to be up here for. Probably not that long, to be honest. But I've braved it. Yay me. That's a tiny bus. Okay. So I'm going to go to Waterstones, the library, maybe some other smaller bookshops, probably a cafe as well, because I have some work on me that I can do, some journaling and some sketching. So yeah, we'll see how we go today, really. I want to be home by like 3 o'clock. I want to beat the school kid rush hour traffic that kills me every time I'm stuck in it. So we'll see, but that's the plan. I'm going to go now though, because my bus is here and I don't want to miss it. I would love to stay in chit chat. Wouldn't that be great fun? But it is boiling. I am dying. It's gonna be 2:30 in a minute, and I want to avoid school kid rush hour traffic. So I'm gonna go home. But I will chit chat. I don't want to be stuck in traffic on my way home. A journey that should take maybe 30 minutes and it turned into an hour. Okay? So I'm gonna go. But I do have things to chat about. I bought some more books. I did things. You saw. But I'm going so I don't die in traffic. Hi, hello again. My hair's up and it looks gross because I'm sweaty and gross. I think it's like 6 o'clock, if not 7 at this point. Was gonna film this so much sooner. I got in my car, I legged it out of there. And that was such a good choice because I did get home in like half an hour instead of an hour. So smart me, I'm an intellectual. But my God, I haven't stopped since I got home. Yeah. I got roped into helping out in the garden, which was fine. That was okay. And then we started doing car maintenance, which is just oodles of fun. So for the last like 2 hours, we have been changing the oil filters and oil and air filters, checking the tires and stuff like that on my car. And we looked at the engine and like the exhaust, and we had to clip up the exhaust. We've got to buy a bit for the exhaust so it will permanently stay up a bit more. Great fun. So that took ages, and I'm so exhausted now and jittery as heck because all I've drank is coffee today. It's only my second coffee, okay? But this is like a double. And the one I had earlier today when I was out was also a double. So I'm very like, right now. It's fine, it's great. I'm gonna go have my dinner soon. Don't know what, but that's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, tangent over. I went in the library today. That was really warm in there. It was like a greenhouse kind of effect in there. So I did not loiter for too long. There was a couple of books I thought about getting, but I didn't ultimately because I knew that there were audiobook versions of them that I could listen to instead. I think like the vampire ones by Lindsay Sands, and there was a couple of others, but I kind of legged it out of there again because it was really freaking hot. I love summer until it actually becomes summer, and then I'm dying in the heat and I want to go home. And then I want winter again, and then I don't like winter because it gets too cold. I'm never happy is the moral. But I went in the library, that was fine-ish. Went into Gerald's. I do not belong in Gerald's, okay? I do not have the money for Gerald's, but I always go in there. And I don't know why. So I went to the book department up there, and they had quite a selection actually. It wasn't too bad. But I held off getting anything out of there because I had money on my Waterstones card, so I knew I was going to buy something out of there instead. But there's quite a few things in Gerald's that I liked the look of, or didn't know were out yet. Maybe one day I'll actually buy a book out of Gerald's. I don't know. I did also end up going into Waterstones, obviously. I think I spent the longest time in there. I don't know. It was quite busy in there, so I was a bit intimidated. And they didn't have a great selection. It's fine. There wasn't an awful lot of paperbacks. There was a lot of hardbacks, and I'm trying to get out of buying hardbacks. They're so expensive, and I buy them, and by the time I actually get around to reading it, the paperback's already out. So I'm like, why am I spending double the money for a standard paperback, not even a nice special edition or anything, when I could just get the paperback and save myself the money? And they're so much nicer to hold. So I'm trying to get out of that habit and only get hardbacks if I want it for my collection. I know I'm going to read it like immediately, or if it's a special edition. Other than that, I think I can wait and just get the paperbacks. Probably. So I went in there. The like worst thing about it was I found a book immediately that I wanted. That was great. That was amazing. And then I saw another book on the like half price table. I was like, oh, I might give that one a go again, because I did read it, I did finish it, but I think I read it at the wrong time, or I listened to it rather on audio, and I think I listened to it at the wrong time. I think it was straight after finishing ACOTAR or Fourth Wing, something like that. So I wasn't in the mood really for another like big world book, but I tried it anyway. And when I was looking around, because it's on the half price table, there was no other book that I wanted on the half price table, so that killed me. But I did get 2 books. I walked away with 2 books, and only 2 that I didn't even pay for because I had money on my account. Delicious. I could have spent a lot longer in there though, in all fairness, just trying to find other books, but I was getting very sick of it very quickly, very warm, very annoyed, just wanted to go home. So I didn't stay for that long, but I did end up walking away with these 2 books. This was the first one I found, long shot. When I saw it, it was like top shelf, kind of hidden away, but I thought that it might have been a sport romance just by the sound of it, and then I saw there was Bloom Books. I love Bloom Books, like that as a publishing agency. They do the best freaking romances, I swear to God. And I read the blurb and I had to have it. The female in it, she's married to this other guy. That relationship is not great. It's not it at all. And I think that her husband, like his sport rival, she met when she was younger at a sport bar or something, and they really hit it off and had like a connection, and I think they stayed in contact, and it ends up being this whole thing of them 2 kind of ending up together in the end, because she's trying to get away from her husband doesn't really want that and won't really accept it, but she's making it happen, and they kind of rekindle. I think that's a very loose take on the blurb, but I knew I was going to enjoy it because I am a sucker for a good sport romance, and I was flicking through it and little parts of it just seemed hilarious and really good. So, Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. I swear I had read some of their other books as well, but when I looked at the other things they had, I don't think I have. But also I could have sworn I had. I don't know. Like their name just sounds so familiar. Maybe I've heard other people talk about the books. Anyway, that one was my first one. I carried that with me all around the shop. It was great, it's fine. And then this is the one that I saw on the half price table. The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I read this, listened to it rather, whenever Fourth Wing came out, over a year ago, I think. I didn't like it, so I don't know why I've bought it, because I didn't enjoy listening to it, but I feel like that's because I listened to it. Some books don't translate well in my brain, listening to other people narrate them, and I think I was in like a weird slump after finishing Fourth Wing or ACOTAR. It was one or the other, so I think that's why I didn't enjoy it. Also, it's a big book, okay? It's like over 500 pages, so that would have also put me off. But I like everything about it, like the entire premise of it and everything. I just probably didn't like the audio. I probably didn't like the narrator, or whatever reason. Like I said, had just finished another book and was still reeling about that one, so I shouldn't have jumped into another big book. So I bought this because I'm still really mad that there wasn't another book that I could have got for half price. Feels like a con, because my Waterstones, they have changed the layout, and they used to have a half price YA book table, and I was like, oh, well, I can get this and go look at the YA table, there might be something on there. They don't have that anymore. They don't have that anymore. There's also not a table, like half price table, with romances on it. There's a whole table that is non-fiction, and then another table that is like new releases, popular ones, like currently, like, you know, like the top 10 books at the minute kind of thing. So this was the only book that was kind of my vibe. But I'm also glad I didn't walk out with another book for half price that I probably wasn't going to read just for the sake of getting one for half price. Anyway, because I also can't remember much about what happened when I listened to it. I probably had it on like 2x speed again, and I was probably just rushing trying to get it done. But I did flick through it, and I know I'll be able to read it quickly because it reads very easily. I just probably wasn't in the mood for it when I did try reading it the first time. So hopefully this will go better this time, because again, I like all the things that make this book this book. It didn't click the first time round, so I'm hoping that it will this time. That's all I have. I bought these two. I wish I found more books, but I did not. Also, that isn't inherently a bad thing, because I only have so much space on my bookshelves. And I have so many pre-orders. So many. So it's probably a good thing that I didn't find any more. I also avoided the works like the plague, because I usually go in there and find so many books, because every time I do go in there, the books are really cheap, and they are romances and fantasy. They kind of cater for TikTok almost. So I know that I'll enjoy most of the books that are in there. But also I have Kindle Unlimited at the minute, and a good 90% of the books that are in the works are also on Kindle Unlimited. So I'm trying to get it into my thick brain that I do not need to buy a book if I can read it for free online. Especially if it's a book that I'm probably only going to want to read once. Because that's just a stupid financial decision, no? There's only a few books as well that I will actually reread or re-listen to. It's mostly just the Crazy Cole, The Mortals After Dark series, and then a few other rogue books. So I know the likelihood is that I won't reread it. My bookshelves, they do go through cycles, so I feel really proud that I didn't actually waste money today. But I would have liked to have found more than just these two in Waterstones. That was kind of sad. I do like this cover though. Way more than the original cover. Way more. It's just such a nice cover. It's way nicer. I don't know. Because the other two covers of like this book and the one after it, which is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, they look identical, which makes it really hard to tell them apart. Maybe next time I go up to the city I'll find something else in Waterstones to buy. But, huzzah. When I was up there, I did stop in Cafe Nero, and I did like the tiniest amount of journaling. I was getting in the zone, and then I realised what the time was and left really quickly. I was only in there for maybe 40 minutes before I skedaddled. So I, again, avoided traffic as much as I possibly could. Yeah, I don't know what this video is. It's fine. It's okay. My plans for the rest of the night, I am going to freaking finish journaling. I swear to God, I am going to catch up. It's all going to be fine. It's going to be great. I swear. And then I'm going to have a pamper evening. I am, because I didn't have one the other night. Face mask of the works. Just because. I feel like I deserve it after today. In all honesty. It's as if I've done so much. I haven't. I'm going to carry on, rather, reading Dead of Summer, that AJ Merlin book. I'm going to keep reading that. I'm going to get my Kindle out and do it on my Kindle instead of my phone, so my phone doesn't overheat. And it's going to be great. I'm loving it so much. It's such a good book. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. I looked it up on Amazon because all the other books I've read from the author, they've been, I don't know, between 200 and 300 pages, and I fly through them. So I was like, why is it taking me so long to read this one book? Like, I know I'm enjoying it, but why is it taking so long? It's nearly 600 pages. Or at least it's over 500. I can't remember where it lies, but it's so many pages long, and I'm eating it up, and it's so freaking good. It's so good. So I'm going to keep reading that tonight with the little amount of time I have left in my day off, and just have a great time. Just have a great time. I was going to do more cross stitch because I did start cross stitching again, but honestly I think I might leave it till tomorrow or something, because I really just want to keep reading so much. I might also, depending if I do finish it or not, start one of these tonight, because I always feel like I should start a new book that I've bought instead of going on my TBR. But then I also feel like I should just read the books off my TBR because they've been there for so long. But also I did just buy these. It's a never-ending cycle of decisions that I don't like to make. Who knows? Yes, I'm gonna go now though because I'm starving, boiling my ass off, and I don't think I have any more words to say.